You clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make educational YouTube videos. Or maybe you're looking to improve your current ones. So pay attention because I'm going to show you the system to creating content that grows your personal brand and attracts clients. The first practical step I would recommend is setting goals and strategy. Now, why is that a thing? You shouldn't make the mistakes I made. Like, I kind of was more focused on the craft and the thing, which is something very good. Like, improving as a content creator is something that you should go for, but you also should keep in mind what goals you're working towards. Like, and are those goals realistic? And just don't set a deadline. Like, you can set a deadline and you get demotivated. Oh, this YouTube thing doesn't work and I'm not getting clients and I'm not getting whatever, and then my thumbnails are bad. And like, just don't set a deadline and keep working, because this is building a personal brand on YouTube. This is not like growing a TikTok account. Like, so the goal and strategy are literally going to be the base of your channel. Most of those YouTube growth videos are teaching you like hacks. But what if the base is rotten or not existing at all? It's like putting blocks on top of nothing, or like growing something on top of a rotten foundation. Like, it's disgusting, and don't expect to get what you would call good results. And imagine someone learning all the AI content hacks and thumbnail color theory or whatever. Like, they're screwed, because what is happening now is that that person is learning sub branches, if not sub branches of sub branches. I think I did this too. It's not just a matter of thumbnails and titles are important. That's what you hear from the gurus, right? Like, thumbnails and title, this is true, like, are important. But someone with a great understanding of what his YouTube channel should look like, and what should it serve, and what audience should he actually attract, and what metrics actually matter. Do views matter? If you want to go for the tens of millions of views and that matters, that's a different question. But do they actually matter? What metrics do matter? Like, what am I trying to do here? The fundamentals or principles. Now, they can view those sub branches in like a different way. Like, we're having a good foundation, or like a solid foundation, not a perfect foundation, because like, you're not perfect, I'm not perfect. And you can start viewing things in a different way. You can start looking, oh wow, I posted a video and I got a person to reach out to me because of one video that got 100 views. Like, YouTube is very powerful. Don't underestimate YouTube. Like, YouTube, you could attract high quality people. People could message you because of your content instead of doing emails or whatever. Like, just a note. Now, if you have a solid foundation, you can view those things in a different way and use them to develop a strong personal brand on YouTube, which will get you part about personal branding. Trust me, with a proper strategy, it will become clearer to do idea generation, validate ideas, which ideas to work on, because you don't have all the day to film videos and to plan them. How your titles and thumbnails may be, that's maybe an option. Maybe you understand the language of your audience and you create, use specific words to attract them and them only. Maybe the thumbnails, you can create thumbnails that specifically suit the type of people you want to attract. They don't have to be fancy. They could be just a couple of screenshots, that might work. Like, there are videos with thousands of views and it's just a screenshot, a bunch of things, like screenshots and with like an arrow and like a circle, and it got like it could get over 3,000 views and get clients or whatever the goal may be. It may not be clients. And yeah, it's the first building blocks. And without it, you'll just keep wandering around, even making great videos and asking, why are not they successful? So, what you want to do is to have a goal, preferably a clear goal. The clearer it is, the better it is to optimize for it. Then use it to use reverse engineering to help make strategy. Like the system, the goal of a goal is to create a system. We'll get to practicalities. However, having a goal is important because, for example, if you have a service of recording voiceovers and want, maybe, want more clients, just an example using it in the as a way to explain it, then making videos not related to that is just dumb. Like, oh, waking up with my family this morning. Well, it doesn't serve the goal, it doesn't go in line with it, you know like wanting to become a doctor but going to an engineering school. Like, imagine that. That's like a kind of perfect way to picture this. Now, how do you actually make a strategy to not compete but rather create your own competition? Just a quick mention, if you're an entrepreneur and want to grow on YouTube, there's a free group below on School. I mean, it just makes sense for you to join. Duh, free thumbnail templates, free help, other entrepreneurs also working in the same direction. Okay, here's a useful framework that will help you. Before that, when there is competition in a place, that is actually good. That means that people do want that thing if there is competition. And competition means that you should push yourself more to provide more value and better value than anyone else. And you can over time create your own competition, your own style with your own distinction, become a go-to expert. So ideally you want to define after the goal what you're passionate about, have experience in, pains you want to solve, anything related to, basically what content you want to make for what goal, and things that go in line. And so then you study the competition by listing channels the people you want to attract may be watching. Then you identify their target audience, niche, sub-niche topics, and what they're known as. Other things could be like the style, how the thumbnails are. It's also great to have an understanding of the industry. So, because when you have an understanding of that industry and you've been consuming the content in it, and you've been actually involved in it, not just consuming, you could do pattern recognition and know what might work, do estimations and analyze and see, okay, what are they solving? What are they not solving? What problems did I actually face that I had to figure out on my own? Maybe you can see kind of how this relates to this video. The idea of problems that you have to figure out yourself, solve yourself. And so we try to make a strategy with a unique value proposition, a unique value proposition after analyzing the competition. See the needs and problems, your understanding of the niche, if you consumed much of it, and if you can ask, your audience directly, essentially identifying gaps in the market. Trying your best. This is not going to be perfect. It may not be, it may be perfect. You may spot a strategy and it's like, boom, go on upwards. Then you want to narrow down and choose a specific audience and a sub niche. This doesn't mean your videos won't get you clients or views, whatever goal you want to get to. Like, for example, Reindorf. This guy's program is $7,000. You hear me? It's high ticket or super high ticket, high ticket program, and it's $7,000. And his videos, teach you about flow states. Now, I don't agree with everything he might say in videos, certainly, or even program, but just using him as an example. This person is a great example. He didn't stop making videos about, oh, like Ali Abdul, if you know him, productivity YouTuber. And he didn't simply become a productivity guy. He became a flow state guy. He associated himself with flow state. It's just the difference in the package. For example, how to force your brain to crave doing hot things. This video literally talks about like intrinsic motivators. Like imagine a video. Oh, what are the 5 intrinsic motivators and how to increase them? Well, that's just stupid. No, that's because of his team. Obviously, he has a great team. Um, yeah. Just a quick mention, if you're an entrepreneur and want to grow on YouTube, there's a free group below on School. I mean, it just makes sense for you to join. Duh, free thumbnail templates, free help, other entrepreneurs also working in the same direction. And so you want to choose a specific audience, as we said. It will become easier to satisfy them the more you understand their needs, problems, pains. It's become easier to satisfy them. Imagine like it's hard to satisfy 1 million people if you like don't know if you don't solve their problem effectively. But you imagine picking a specific type of people. This, for you it could be, for example, Rian his channel has over 300,000 subscribers, and although it's like we can consider this a niche channel, like, but just keep in mind, more views don't actually mean that you'll get to your goal. Like, do more views actually matter? Then, like, yeah. And certain niches just have a cap. Like, that is normal. Certain niches can't actually get to 1 million views, at least yet. For example, if there's an app called School. If you have a school community like School, there are 1 million users on School, over 1 million users. But like, not all of them have school communities to go and watch your videos about how to grow your school community. So it's natural that there will be a cap. Now, for example, productivity, more people want to be productive. And so just using the flow state teaching thing as, a mechanism, alluring the audience, basically. So choose 4 topics maximum. You'll cover based on what you like, passionate about, problems, expertise, and plus useful data we just collected. You just analyze, see what people are doing. You have an understanding of what the industry is like, and you can put them on a spreadsheet. For example, I made this strategy for Afonso, and he just gave me a list of competitors, and I just like started seeing. Now, I don't make go high level content, or content about school, but basically trying to see what they're doing, and yeah, trying to basically look and understand what these guys are doing. So if you actually are in the niche, this is, you understand things in it, you just have immense advantage. Take screenshots of popular thumbnails in your niche and other educational niches you like their thumbnails, and put them on a whiteboard, because it will be helpful. It could be helpful for branding. For example, this is about go high level content. sort of, this is not go okay, high level, high level, high level, and this is like, we can say adjacent content. This is what the guy is interested in. He's interested in Imangaji. This is entertainment, just putting it here. And this is a video about like Charlie Morgan School. You don't need to know that. This is just an example. And so, because that could be helpful for branding later. Then define options of what you potentially can become as a go-to expert in. Like author James Clear, he's known for habits. For example, re-endorse again, like he associated himself with flow state. They were planning the channel. They noticed that people generally gave advice. Like, this is actually information from a guy who helped Adrian. I wrote it in my own way. Generally gave advice in the productivity world just based on like bro science, like not much evidence is science. And so while Reen having tremendous experience and research, they niche it down so that he becomes the guy of like flow state, and help professionals like CEOs, athletes, and so on with actual science, not just whatever your experience is. And that's what his program does anyway. Like, it teaches you like how to go from zero to dangerous. That's like the name of the program, Zero to Dangerous. It even aligns with the goal of scaling the company. Like, they were using Facebook ads and basically transitioned to YouTube organic. Or Iman Ghazi, this guy targeted young people. Like Iman Ghazi, if you know him, he targeted like young people, which interestingly enough got rich and older people like interested in him. Like, you can actually see, based on doing your pattern recognition and analyzing what people are doing, you can actually target an audience that it may be neglected. you know no one was teaching people in their 20s, teenagers, how to become financially free and, or independent and stuff like that, and how to improve it. Almost. There is another guy, no need to. Anyway, so he actually revolutionized the education space on YouTube with the animation style his editors made. And the you may have seen this, the Imangaji style, the animations and stuff. So you can see how you could play with it to become that guy who people associate with certain things, certain qualities, certain, maybe you pick this bottle and you associate it with, it's associated with you. Maybe like the what big companies do, they pick an influencer, and now he wears their product, and now their product is associated with that influencer, and he may be an athlete. Let's say Nike, and Nike picks lots of influencers, and so they create a branding of like, oh, an athlete person wears Nike. We just do it on like a personal branding level, and basically yeah. So, one note: after you reasonably made a goal and strategy, you can come back to this video to follow along. Do not get into the trap of, is this gonna work? Like, you gotta try it over a period of time to know if it's gonna work. Like, we do the analyzing to minimize the risk and to invest our time and energy in, hopefully, the right direction. That's but like, is this gonna work? Like, try it. Like like, you wonder, it may work for another person but not for you, for certain things that you missed. And the only way to really know is to like test, like, oh, is this gonna work? Don't get into that trap. Like, actually make videos, because it's a dangerous trap that could get you, into like, trying to over optimize this strategy. Even if you have a channel, like, don't get into that. You can always come back and start improving. So stop, do the research, make a strategy. You can refine along the way. Totally normal. Actually, like, I can I can tell more time. The more time goes on, the more you'll have to get to make videos closer to this strategy, to your strategy. The more you'll actually like realize that, okay, like I actually gotta make videos that relate more, that are like more specific, and that actually connects with your goal and makes sense. But don't turn planning into a form of procrastination instead of working. Now we're gonna explain the algorithm in brief. So let me do this. Okay, actually, it's cool. So visual variety. So now, before moving to the second step, the AI on YouTube optimizes for viewer engagement. Have you heard of like CTR and AVD? Stop! No, no, no. This video isn't like the other ones. Okay, so I'm not gonna like the CTR and AVD type of like trying to become a YouTube guru anyway. So high click-through rates and average view duration. You may have heard these terms. So what but what do you think is more important? They're both very important, and in my humble opinion, I think number two is kind of more important in a sense, or like a lot of ways more than the first one, which is like click-through rate. uh Here's why. YouTube wants to make more money on the platform. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. This is not for me like helping you make YouTube more money. Like, this is not for me. I actually have a different view on AdSense, and AdSense is just, in my humble way, it's just influenced by something. No need to mention it. Like, just like a stupid way to monetize. That's how I could say it. You don't have to agree with me. Now, the first solution is to just crank up the ads, but it will make the viewing experience terrible. Like, YouTube could actually like crank up the amount of ads people see and just make it horrible, and they will go to TikTok, Facebook, and leave. And actually, you may have seen, if you're on mobile, you can actually see the video in preview and not get into it, and you'll get no ad. Like, which is like, it counts as a view, but they don't get paid, which is interesting. So, however, by making you watch longer, or exactly suggesting to you videos that have a high likelihood of keeping you longer, ads now could be sequenced over a long period, so they can make more money while at the same time not lose you. Do they actually care about someone losing his brain? Ask them, ask YouTube. Whether we like it or not, we play a role in this. If you are an educational video, if you have an educational video that doesn't hold people, or actually your people, not just anyone, well, another person could actually have one that holds them. And, or worse, it could be an entertaining video, a mindless, stupid, entertaining video. And you basically should solve your audience's problem. We'll get to the part about the ideas, because it's like an extension of strategy. So this is why I think the average viewer duration is more important, or average percentage view to be exact, because you can make a 30-minute video and it's consumed. And only, just a quick mention, if you're an entrepreneur and want to grow on YouTube, there's a free group below on Skool. I mean, it just makes sense for you to join. Duh, free thumbnail templates, free help, other entrepreneurs also working in the same direction. It saves people, Skool community owners, time. uh, it saves them headache, and it automates process for them. It could get people more engaged. It could maybe even get them more sales. And so, yeah, basically questions. You know, what does this align with the topics the channel have and stuff like that. So we get to the validation right now. Now next is the validation phase. Listen closely. This could and should take time because most ideas you get on a paper are not gonna pass. You'll look at them later and like after you noted them, like it's like oh, this is very bad. I may have exaggerated, but like this may happen to you and basically realize how bad the idea is. And remember, solving problems. The solution is the idea. But we better have a proper process, right? And basically, validation is the process of filtering ideas and better planning them to choose which ideas are worth focusing on more and minimize the risk of failure. This doesn't mean that every video will succeed in the way you want. Also, you can't simply keep filming every idea you have because you have limited time and attention and energy. It's about allocating resources the right way. Like, think about Google or Amazon. They probably have billions of cool ideas. Still, they can't work on all of them. Like, they should be picky. So how do we validate ideas? So for validation, you can go to YouTube and actually search for the idea. For example, you have an idea about something and you go and search and see what people are making, basically to get an idea, and you may even get inspired. You can use tools like viewstats.com to see, they have an extension that allows you to see the average, let's say, you can go to a creator and actually see, if a video. Oh no, I have to sign up. Anyway, you can. Anyway, you get the idea. There's this graph, which you can see if the video is above average. Now, I don't have I have an account, but I'm not. Have a checklist to see if this aligns with your channel strategy, topics, what problems and pains your audiences have. And if you skip the part about strategy, you're screwed. Go back to the strategy if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you will have to put a personal checklist for you. There is no checklist that works for everybody. It's just basically, oh, does this align with the topics that I'm covering with my channel? Okay, check. Yes. Okay, move on. Okay, does this solve the time problem for this? Does this solve this problem? Does this solve this problem? Basically, after analyzing and seeing what problems your audience has, you know just go back and do the research and look for what actually your audience faces. And yeah, then the title and thumbnail options. You can take screenshots for inspiration, write what the thumbnail could include, or even sketch it quickly. I'm gonna show you, like for example, this thumbnail this is not sketched. This is like a Reddit thumbnail I made for a guy. Anyway, so this is like a decent thumbnail, and this is in Canva. You don't have to have fancy skills. You don't have to have Photoshop. Like, it depends again. You may be expert in using Photoshop, and basically, you have an advantage. That's cool. And it could be simple. You could take inspiration and add your own style to it. For example, I added the grid. You can think that's a cool thing that I it's not a video that I would actually make. This is not for me, but I actually added the grid. It looks cool, different, the red graph. And yeah, so you could get stuck at this stage. You could basically use Canva, like put things together, then modify it later. I've done this, just putting things, then modifying it later. Uh, that could work. Just don't over complicate it. Don't overthink. You can overthink for a while, but just set a deadline for the overthinking, because it's like it could get crazy for you. Like you could just keep wasting time and think that, oh, I'm just thinking about the thumbnail. Like, bro, let's make the thumbnail. Anyway, okay, so setting deadlines. That's with try to do that with everything. Just use Google Calendar. It's above, and yeah, setting deadlines for like the days on which you should like finish the thing overall, and also like on a day-to-day level. And yeah, so what do we have after? Then outline the video. Basically, like you just this step could be messy. You can just keep just thinking. You have many ideas, because you probably have been, since you had the idea, have been have been thinking about what to include in it, and your brain has been working non-stop, and you're just gonna explode on it. So get to Google Docs or like Notion. There's a kind of the similar idea planner template that you can find in my school community, and thumbnail templates like these are made in Canva, which is crazy. This is like systemizing things. We'll get to the part about systemization. And I'll just with the outline get into the back to the outline. Just put everything. You can organize them later. Just put what you have, what you should include in the video, where you think you should include. And so, for example, this idea, okay, this is not relevant. Sorry. I had an idea that took over 2 hours, and to validate, and basically it wasn't an idea, and it was just like I had an idea, I noted it, and I had an idea that was like older. It just was inspired by this book, 48 Laws of Power, if you know it. And it was like inspired by it, as I remember. And basically the idea was like a title. That was it. But like then I took time and I thought, and then took another idea that I just noted. I remember like that morning, and basically improved it, and took time to validate it and actually created a good thumbnail in no time. Canva. I made it very quickly, and which like it changed the style of kind of changed the style of my thumbnails. Anyway, so right, okay, basically trying to validate what problems does it solve, and like what your audience faces. So like the idea was about like related to writing videos, and yeah, keeping your viewers hooked with like you can hopefully get an idea. Anyway, so research, you can use AI. So now next, the research phase. Now researching could be like another part of validation. So basically researching the topics, learning, and I want to make it clear, you may not need research at all. You may not need it. Like the actual research of the video, and you know just like you may just need validation, because the video may just be about personal knowledge, and research could be as a way to basically validate if you know validate the idea itself. Now research better spend it on actually, if you remember the research, those who skip the research phase, on the strategy, then how do you do research? So a good question. Well, it could happen passively, like watching educational videos, reading books, but you don't want to be procrastinating. You know, oh, I'm doing research, and what is the research? I'm basically watching a video. Like, come on, like take notes, do something. Like, do not turn it into a form of procrastination. Sit down and like you can copy URLs, um, copy URLs of specific points in videos. This also could work. You know, if you go here, you can like copy video at current URL. This could work, you know, just maybe to keep track of the important things. And so you can go to Google, search, read blogs, you know, synthesize and summarize. Uh, like it's not sexy. Researching is not sexy. Like it's not. And so you can use AI like Copilot, Copilot by Microsoft, or ChatGPT, and ask them to give you links, you know, to do further research. You can do use AI for actually crafting strategy and you know getting the link, getting what your audience is interested in, what problems do they face, and actually use AI. The better the questions you ask it, the better the answer is. You know, remember if you skip the strategy part, you know, those who skip the strategy, go back, go back. Like one tip is to also like dump your ideas in the research phase, especially if it's mostly based on your knowledge. Like maybe you put, you know, now you've put an outline, but then in the research phase, it's like now you're gonna extend your like blah, it's like pour your knowledge on Google Docs or Notion and basically to organize it later, basically to see, because in your mind this could be messy. You could you may not use it like you actually just may use like a flow chart. Like you may actually use a flow chart like to organize ideas. Now this is not the best organized thing, but you know, just to get idea, you can use arrows and stuff like that to organize. You know, that could work for you. For example, Iman Gaji, you know, with his videos, he actually uses flowcharts. So yeah, now is script. Just a quick mention: if you're an entrepreneur and want to grow on YouTube, there's a free group below on School. I mean, it just makes sense for you to join. Duh, free thumbnail templates, free help. Other entrepreneurs also working in the same direction. Writing ideas on a page. Why is it important? Well, writing basically helps you structure your ideas. We're not writing a movie, of course, but it just helps with the flow of the video. Make a great hook, you know, include foreshadowing, remove what you actually should remove, although you spend time writing it. That could be like, you could realize that you should not include something that basically just wastes time. You don't want to do that. And basically, the more you like plan before filming, the better it is. Like it just makes the process easier for like when filming and when later editing. Whether you include resources, whether like you can paste a screenshot or something like that, and basically it just helps tremendously. Whether it's like you can use a flowchart, not necessarily actually writing, like actual writing. You know, flowcharts could work. You can, you know, basically to keep track of what you should say without writing. That could work for you. I'm not saying that it will work 100%. Like it could work for you. You know, try it. You may be more of the person of like just free flowing ideas. And I'm just like, I've been through this video, although it's written, you know, it doesn't mean I didn't free flow, like you saw how it behaved. So for example, this could have been just an outline, but I made it into a script to help guide because I just have too many ideas. Like I had too many ideas. I can't keep them in my head. Sure, I won't follow it to the T. Like I don't follow this to the T. So you may not outline, but just use something to structure your ideas. So you may like, sorry, I meant like, so you may not actually script, but just use something like maybe flowcharts or outlines to structure ideas and test. It might work better than scripting, just scripting, testing. Now, how? Now, when it comes to how, well, you just script. Cliche, but here are a few things that will help you. Okay, for the hook, promise, which is like the first line that validates the potential thumbnail and title you did in the previous process of validating. No, one thing I forgot, like one thing I didn't mention with validating, you can actually test the thumbnails and titles before actually, like you can just ask your audience if you have contact with them. Maybe it could be a select few. You can use apps like these. It's clickpilot.app to test thumbnails and title variations. Just keep that in mind. So, second thing, after the promise, is the path, like a summary of what the video will be about. It's like the strategy, not the tactics. In this video, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just you give like an overall strategy of what the video is about. The path. It's like a guide showing you on the map where you're gonna get and how long is that gonna be, and basically like and by the way, these may be these two, the first one and two, like promise and path, could be as one. Like the promise could also show the path. It's like in this video, you're gonna learn how to make YouTube videos to attract clients. And I can just show you a graph, like a text of what the video will be about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an example. And proof, credibility, even if it's small, and say it in a humble way, like not to show who you are. Like, who cares about you? Like, anyway, it's just a way to, it's a great way to get people to care about you. And if you don't have credibility, you can use effort, time, or time you spent learning something. Just mention it. You may use it, you may choose to not. You can just say, okay, this took me 1 month to make, or this took me whatever. Basically you get the idea. It took me 5 books. It took me 26 videos consumed to, just, you get the idea. No need to clarify. Then get into the video. Try to keep it like 25 seconds. These first 3 steps. Then when it comes to the video itself, I can bombard you with the use storytelling and use foreshadowing. However, let's simplify it. Your video could consist of these three things: list, which is like list of tactics, like number of tactics. Steps. This one is obvious, I guess. Like it's like list but general. It's like step 1, do this. Step 2, it's like steps of the strategy, kind of like this video. Stories, like examples, case studies to prove your credibility. Make it occasional little entertaining. Maybe you tell a story, just an example. These things are obvious. I've shown you an example throughout this video. Another one, when scripting your videos, you could use these three: the what the video is about, or what is that step or technique about, or what it is actually. Two, the why you should listen, and why is that thing important. How, after the hook or intro, this is generally the video. Like, you can kind of see these things, the what and why and the how, kind of like the proof and the pattern and the promise. But you could actually use these to inside the video, kind of like this video, how far it went. Like, I was telling you the what and the why and the how. So, like, this is the only simplified version that you need. You don't need to waste your time learning filmmaking and storytelling as I did. You write to sell yourself and your brain in the head. Okay, what is it? You write to sell yourself and your brand in the head of your target audience. This is education. The style can be developed with practice. That's cliche to hear, but I have no hack for you except for using, except using AI. Like, I've used AI. It could be cool, actually. You can just write and tell it to improve and be more specific. Preserve the style, change words, keep it simple. Maybe use words that resonate with the target audience. And it could be good in rewriting. Just tell it to keep it in your style, not use flashy words, because the more instructions you give to AI, the better output will be. The output will be, and you can also use it to list examples. You can tell it, okay, tell me examples, blah blah blah. When revising the script, be objective about it. No complex words, clean, simple. Don't use fanciness, fancy words. If there is something you should cut out because it's too much or doesn't match, then cut it. Branding and style, creativity. In this section, we talk about branding. Now, when it comes to style and branding, it's also tied to strategy. Remember those people who quit the strategy part? The section above? I know, by the way, if you're still watching, good job. Like, most people quit. That's normal. No matter how hacks you'll try to use in your videos, people just gonna still quit. Just a quick mention: if you're an entrepreneur and want to grow on YouTube, there's a free group below on Skool. I mean, it just makes sense for you to join. Duh, free thumbnail templates, free help, other entrepreneurs also working in the same direction, which is like normal. But those who stay, people who watch more long form. Anyway, if they're interested, they're gonna watch. What differentiates your channel, what things or qualities your audience associates you with, whether that is in the style of the video, what you say, the thumbnails, like across everything really. That's why, like, having at least thinking about the strategy for a while or rethinking it, don't overthink, like, just to have a solid foundation, and it could help with the branding. Like, you don't want to get into the trap of creativity for the sake of creativity. Maybe that's your goal, and you can get attached to your work. It's normal to the point where you sacrifice efficiency for creativity. That could work. You're so attached to your creative work. All of creativity, if it is not used to progress you forward, then it's like nothing. It should help the strategy. It should help you. It should help you get closer to your goal, or anything useful other than cool visuals to have is a waste of time. Like, if you just wanna use cool visuals for the sake of cool visuals, okay, you can use that. Like, actually give a visual flair. But then, like, this is like later the optimizing part after posting videos. You can actually start seeing what works and what not, or what doesn't, and start stripping things. Like me actually dialing down the editing. Like, it also makes sense from an investment of time or money perspective, because it takes so much time, and also now, like, I don't have much time to allocate to making videos. So I mean, like, before that even, uh, yeah. So just forget about beautiful montage. Like, it could work, but if you're trying to grow maybe your community, or you want to just basically scale, hiring could be great, but then, like, you might, because, like, I would also recommend just get into the editing for a bit, because it's now easy to hire an editor. Like, there are just lots of editors. Just like, you may actually see that the video that he edited is great, but as someone who's been in editing, like, I actually have experience editing, like, not just, like, I consider myself like a good editor, or good to great, between good and great, you can say. Like, I can make an editor's life a nightmare because of the attention to details. I I have, and I like obsessing about details and stuff like that. So yeah, just, you can hire, but try to become kind of understand what an editor goes through. At least you may think it's a waste of time, but just get into the field. Play a bit. You can use AI, like, there's an AI you can use, like CapCut Pro, to cut the gaps and stuff like that. There are other AIs to basically remove the fluff from the video. Like, this is a game of attention. How many creativity are you willing to sacrifice to help yourself get closer to your goal? Like, how much creativity are you willing to sacrifice? That is a good question. This doesn't mean that you should sacrifice all of your creativity. Just, keep that in mind. So we want to have optimized creativity. If it progresses us, then it's cool. If it doesn't, then remove it. This is not just for editing, or um, it's across everything. For example, me considering dialing down the edit, like, it clearly doesn't really help me, although people may praise it and ask me about it. Like, I'm at a point now where, like, optimizing, and this doesn't mean I couldn't get back to editing. In fact, like, I want to have great editing. Um, but for the moment, just it's just better now to dial it down. It still takes time. If you saw the previous videos that have less editing, just don't quit the video right now. Just talking it to you. Say here. So, and that based on data. It's also based on data, and kind of what I see myself progresses me. It's like, the ideas, the writing, and you get it. Also, from kind of a data point of view, editing doesn't play a role, although I can see how it plays a role, recently with it's testing. You could still test and see what actually works best for you. So, how now, with the house thing, like, getting inspired by multiple people, that could work, but it's also like, essentially, it comes back to the strategy. Like, this is part of the strategy, the branding. Furthermore, Consider operating based on feedback and testing and iterating. Like I told you, me dialing down the editing. Like I could crank it up more in the future. Maybe. Have in mind. Anyway, so for the thumbnails. In this section, we talk about thumbnails. They're important and influence the click-through rate, help with branding. This is also related to strategy. Remember those people who script the strategy? Like it always comes back to the strategy. Like the better, especially if you understand the industry you're in, like you can see what problems people face and try to solve them. That is basically, it's more about solving problems and trying, by solving specific problems for a specific audience and trying to potentially be branded with something specific or certain things. Yeah. Like now you can, because of strategy, you have your competitors listed. You can also list their top performing videos and see common patterns in their thumbnails. You don't want to exactly look like them, but definitely you can actually look in the beginning. You can imitate before you create something. Sorry. You can actually imitate before you create something unique. No problem. But definitely certain elements are repeatedly put for a reason. So you list those elements to help strengthen your strategy and branding. Alongside that, you could take inspirations from other niches and content that you consume, and let's also list its elements and maybe use an element that is frequently used in it to like create, basically like personal branding. What your content is about and what content you actually like, and create a unique personality for your, that's like personal branding for your thumbnail. And just testing and so testing based on what's working already. It's okay to imitate before you innovate. As I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You probably heard that. You probably but I suggest like tweaking the wheel, you know to suit you. Now, the how. You can use any photo editing tool like Photoshop or Canva, and the rule with it is like creating curiosity, being vague. You want it to be simple. Choose color palette like one or two colors that you can repeatedly put. For example, the Diary of a CEO, a very famous podcast. If we have here re-endorse, like the constant use of the black grid thumbnail and the white text and some colorful things in red, green. We have the Diary of a CEO. You can see how consistent their thumbnails are, although these quotes are not real anyway. And you can, what example do we have here? Colin Samir. The constant use of the white color and the black color. And yeah, for me, it's like the black, and it could be, you can also see the white color. You can see the red. It could be introduced. Keeping it simple. You can overcomplicate it. Just try it, test. Not seeing that it works doesn't mean it doesn't work at all. It's about the concept first, then the skill. Use high quality images. This is very important. Use high quality images. And there are certain formats of thumbnails that always work for type of ideas. like the format of this versus this. It's systems and templates that could be implemented and improved across many aspects of production. You can use ClickPilot.app to test your different variations of thumbnails and titles. And this is neglected systems. Now, in this section, we'll talk about systems, templates, and it's a very neglected thing. Like, there are certain things you can repeatedly do. Why not save time by actually setting systems in place? Like, for example, this is a template. This is like a system. Like 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 dump your knowledge TNGs. I don't use this anymore. Like TNGs, there's a kind of sort of same template in my school community. You can join it to get it for free. This is really working. This is the validation part, titles and templates, thumbnails, TNGs, and helping storyboard. I don't use this. I don't use this. The outline, the research. I could use it. Scripting, text review. This is like basically a checklist that like I can review. And yeah, systems work. So imagine saving time thinking about thumbnail options by building a library of valid thumbnails that you can use over and over with just slight changes. Instead of repeatedly doing the actions, set them so that set them auto auto mode so that you save time. And this for me has been like a great point. Like trying to systemize or templatize, it's like why would you do that over and over? It's like, for example, I have these templates here. Like I've made many thumbnails, and basically now like recently I templatized them. Like this is actually made in Canva, believe it or not. Like it took so much time. And don't think that I made this in like half an hour. Um, yeah, like this is another one I made for Nathan Field. I didn't mention him. Well, basically, sorry guys, I didn't mention Nathan Field as an example in strategy. Basically, I saw how these people are, like this is the same guy here and here, like making videos and like I don't know how to say it. Like I don't want to. Please don't take this as me showing off, but like basically, like I did my pattern recognition and I've been making content for long. This guy also made so many pieces of content, and yeah, I've seen who did I see? I see this. I saw this, and basically I advised Nathan to make content about like breaking down uh like school community owners, what they did and stuff like that. Like this is this is Ryan Matthews' channel. Anyway, and I've made this thumbnail for him. There are other variations, and like basically I injected my style, but he can modify it, and it's customizable. And so it's this could save you enormous time and hours, even at a smaller level. Time compounds. This time you do it, then the next time you redo it, and like it's a mess. Now shooting, filming. You film yourself. There's an app called Black Magic on the iPhone, and this is a camera. It gives you, I would say, Black Magic. Uh, it gives you more control over the camera, which is good. Now, why would you use a camera app instead of the native camera you have on your phone. That's your camera on the camera on your phone just keeps changing automatically. The ISO, the exposure, and just keeps changing based on light. You can fix it by, when you lock, you can actually lock it when you keep pressing. But just using a camera app gives you more control. And yeah, editing, you can use Gling.ai or CapCut Pro. Gling costs $15 per month. Don't use music in education. That's my recommendation, because you want people to take it seriously without any external ADHD amplifier as much as possible. Just like, even if you heard something that sounds like music in the beginning of the video, it's not music. It's hums. It's like sound with the mouth if you heard it. But essentially, the A roll is you talking, the B roll are the clips on top, sound effects can help, animations for some visuals and explanations. You can actually use, maybe you can use Canva for animation. That may sound weird. It's a cool hack. Use AI like Aphonic to enhance the quality of your audio at the end. After, like, you can render the audio on its own and go to Aphonic and use it. You don't need to be an audio engineer. You can hire an editor. This could save you time, lots of time, if you have the money to do so. But remember, branding and strategy, don't just like hire an editor and tell them to do whatever they want to do. That's stupid. Give them instructions. Um, have systems like videos or a document on what your videos should look like. Maybe a Notion page where you've documented how your videos should look like. Channel optimization, you can basically like add links that you want to redirect people to. Have a good profile picture. SEO does matter, yes and no, because it helps YouTube know more about your channel. Like, SEO is basically a brief description of what your channel is about. Also, in the description of your videos, keep it simple, brief, and tags basically for YouTube to know what the video is about. And so, yeah, titles are important. Have a summary of your video in the description. Optimize channel description also. And that's it. Hopefully, guys, you benefited from this video. And if you're an entrepreneur and you can get them templates like these on the community if you want. Um, yeah, if you're interested really in growing your channel in like a businessy way and not waste your time, I could help you with systems. Currently, the school community is free. Like I have a free school community. You can join it. Click in the link in this description. Now, there could be a paid community layer as you're watching this video, and basically it will just be me trying to sell you a high ticket offer. Like, why not lie? Get leads for your business, community, agency, service, and yeah, if you like the value so far, like, why hesitate? Let's go.